We walk past them every single day. Plants. They're just kind of there, silent, still. But what if I told you that beneath that quiet green surface, there's a hidden language, a story of incredible complexity, universal rules, and honestly, a race against time? So let's try and decode that language together. I mean, really think about it. It seems like such a simple question, right? Why does that one wildflower just love this side of the trail, but you won't find it anywhere on the other side? Or why can you drive just a few miles and find yourself in a completely different kind of forest? It's a puzzle, and it's one that has kept scientists busy for a long, long time. To really get to the bottom of this, we've got to go to a specific place. Our story starts where a team of researchers went deep into a humid, incredibly diverse forest in the western Himalayas of Pakistan. Their goal? To figure out the instruction manual that tells the plant where it can and cannot live. The best way to think about it is like a recipe, right? Every single forest, every single meadow, it has its own unique recipe for life. And our first job is to figure out what the ingredients are. But before we dive into the ingredients, we need to know what dish we're actually making. In science, they measure something called species abundance. It's a pretty simple idea, really. It just means if you cordon off a patch of land, how many of each type of plant do you find? This number, this is the final result of our secret recipe. So, back in that Himalayan forest, the researchers found that everything pretty much boils down to four main groups of ingredients. First, you've got the soil itself, the literal ground floor of the whole operation. Then there's topography. Are you high up on a steep, shady slope or down in a flat, sunny valley? Then, of course, you've got climate, how much rain and sun you get. And last, a really big one, disturbance. What's the impact of grazing animals, or, us?
But here's where it gets kind of mind-blowing. Each of those main ingredients isn't just one thing. Oh, no. It's a whole complex recipe in itself. Soil isn't just dirt. It's this precise, delicate balance of pH, nitrogen, phosphorus, the exact ratio of sand to silt to clay. And all of these things are interacting with each other all at once in this dizzying dance that decides if a seed will ever become a tree.
And that's really the main takeaway from their work. As the researchers put it, there's no single magic bullet. The vibrant life you see in a forest is the result of everything working together, or sometimes against each other. It's all one big, complicated, interconnected system. So this leads to a much, much bigger question. If every single little patch of Earth has its own super complex, unique recipe, how could we ever hope to understand the whole planet? Is nature just a chaotic mess of local rules? Or is there a universal blueprint hiding underneath it all? A fundamental rule that applies everywhere? Well, amazingly, it turns out there is. Scientists have actually found a hidden order in all that chaos, a universal blueprint. It's a mathematical rule that connects all plant life, no matter where it is on Earth. And the pattern itself is just beautifully simple. Basically, in any ecosystem, you'll find a whole lot of small plants and only a very few big plants. Just think about a forest, right? For every one giant, ancient oak tree, there are thousands, maybe millions of tiny seedlings, saplings, and shrubs. This simple trade-off, the bigger you are, the rarer you are, it holds true pretty much everywhere you look. Okay, so scientists see this universal pattern. The next logical question is, why? Why does this happen? And two major theories stepped up to the plate. The first, the metabolic theory, is a bit more complex. It says a plant's chance of dying is linked to its size. This predicts a specific mathematical curve. The second theory, the demographic theory, is simpler. It basically assumes that once a plant gets established, its chance of dying in any given year is pretty much constant, whether it's big or small. This predicts a different mathematical curve. So, which one is it? To figure it out, a team of researchers went on a mission. They measured plant communities in 13 totally different ecosystems. They looked at everything from prairies and wetlands in Ohio to super high altitude meadows out in the Rockies, all the way to a cactus-filled desert in Arizona. They wanted to see if the rule held up under pressure. And the result? It was stunningly clear. It wasn't even close. In every single place they looked, from the soggiest wetland to the driest desert, the data was a near-perfect match for the demographic theory. That simple model, the one that assumes a constant risk, just worked. Every single time.
Just pause and think about how profound this is. It means that underneath all the beautiful, wild, seeming chaos of the natural world, there is a simple, predictable, universal blueprint that shapes plant life everywhere. A single, elegant, mathematical rule that connects a blade of grass to a giant sequoia.
Now, finding this hidden order is amazing. It's a huge scientific breakthrough. But it does beg the question, so what? Why does it actually matter that we found this blueprint? What's at stake here for us in the real world? Well, it matters because this beautiful, orderly system, this foundation of our entire world, is being unraveled. And well, we're the ones holding the thread. To really get this, we need to talk about scale. For almost all of human history, we were just a tiny part of the planet. When farming started, there were maybe 1 million of us. Total. It took all of human history up to the 1800s to reach 1 billion people. And then, things went vertical. In just 200 years, we exploded to nearly 8 billion. And we're on track to add another 2 billion people. That's double the planet's entire 1800s population in just the next few decades. That growth exerts an almost unimaginable pressure on the natural world. And what is that pressure being put on? Plants. They make up more than 80% of all living stuff on planet Earth by weight. Just let that sink in for a second. Plants aren't just part of the living world. For all practical purposes, they are the living world. They are the foundation for everything else. So what happens when that unprecedented human pressure meets that planetary foundation of life? You get this. We are now losing species at a rate that's estimated to be 1,000 times faster than the normal, natural background rate. We aren't just tweaking the system, we are actively and rapidly dismantling the blueprint. And losing plants isn't just about losing some pretty flowers. It's about losing, well, everything. We would lose the very oxygen we need to breathe. We'd lose the stable soil that grows our food. We'd lose the systems that regulate our fresh water. We'd lose our #1 defense against climate change. We'd even lose the source of at least a quarter of all of our modern medicines. Look, the situation is incredibly urgent, but it's not hopeless. The very same science that helped us discover the blueprint can also help us protect it. The question is shifting now from what are we losing to what can we save? Because it really truly is a race against time. And here is a very real, tangible sign of that hope. Around the world, scientists are building these modern-day Noah's Arks for plants called seed banks. And look at this. They've already managed to preserve the seeds of 42% of all known threatened plant species. Now, we've still got over half to go, but it proves that when we actually focus our efforts, we can make a huge, measurable difference. But that hope comes with a really heavy dose of reality, and I don't think anyone's ever said it better than the biologist Dan Jansen. Extinction is forever. You don't get a do-over. The choices we make now, in our lifetimes, will literally determine what life on this planet looks like for thousands of years to come. So, this is where we're left. We've gone from the secret recipe of a single forest to a universal law that governs all life, and right up to the edge of a global crisis that we created. We have the knowledge now. We can read the blueprint. So the only real question left is, will we choose to protect it? Thanks for joining me.